getting what you're going to talk about.
In less than 1 minute.
Sorry. Sorry, Paul.
Yes, I started off studying architecture at university, and then and then I had to do some summer stage, they call it that, and then I decided that anything to do with normal society wasn't like meant to be for me. So then I studied physics, then I did a PhD in foundations of physics, and then I realized actually related in very contextual variable stuff, and then I realized that this was academic suicide. But I actually didn't care, because the only thing I was trying to do is becoming a rock star or something like that, so my academics was just a way of getting money to buy instruments. I couldn't care less, honestly. And then at some point I got a job offer from the Art Institute of Chicago for music, and then I went to this, and they offered me to come over for a week and to enjoy the city of Chicago, whether I wanted to live there. And I must have done something terrible, because at the end they didn't want me anymore. So that's how I ended up.
Played the wrong music.
That's how I ended up here, and actually since then I've been actually really enjoying doing physics in a computing laboratory. And because I learned a lot there, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I saw certain stuff which I learned from these people is actually very useful in foundations of physics. And I'm currently, I'm stable there, so I'm building out my group, and I'm hiring young kids who want to do PhDs in foundations of physics. And I say, okay, just come to me. You have to learn category theory, and you have to learn some logic, and then these people are very willing to give you a PhD in computer science. So I could have given a lot of titles to this talk, but after yesterday I gave this title. So it could be anything. So I sort of made a scheme of the sort of titles this talk could have, and you can pick out everything here, like theory or category or picture or logic, and you can pick out something here, like process, compounds, information flow, measurements. Any combination goes, so I've got 16 titles.
Picture measurement?
Theory, category, pictures.
Pictures and measurement?
Yeah, picture of measurement.
Picture of measurement, yes.
Picture of measurement.
Oh, yeah.
Theory of compounds, categories of processes,
Yeah.
the logic of information flow. It all goes. So, just a bit of context, everybody knows what I'm going to talk about here. So I'm going to talk about the quantum mechanical formalism as it was created by von Neumann, as it was denounced by von Neumann, and how it was made cute and messy by the So this is quantum theory how I see it. This is like 4 lines you need. So first of all, you say that a single system is described in a Hilbert space. If you take a system from T0 to T1, that's a unitary operator. Compound system requires to use a tensor product. Measuring system requires to use a self-adjoint operator. So there's like 4 levels of axiomatics there. System, operation, compoundness, information retrieval, measurement. Like how do you get to know something about a system? Now when you talk to a physicist, then they will always say, what is quantum mechanics about? Ah, it's about Hilbert spaces and stuff. And it's like here. So this is just an isomorphism of Hilbert spaces. It's unitary, so this is boring. I'm not going to talk about this today. Now, this is extremely boring actually. so this is like extremely boring. This is very colorful. So it's amazing, like the physicists talk about quantum mechanics and talking here most of the time. It's really where the boring stuff is happening. There's nothing interesting about that. Here is where the interesting quantum mechanical stuff is happening. The measurement and tensor product, how you describe locality and all this stuff is happening here. Measurement and all those sort of philosophy is happening there. And von Neumann knew that, of course. So von Neumann started this analysis of quantum mechanics with an analysis of measurement. So how did von Neumann do this? When he was looking at measurement, he said, yes, you've got spectra, and initially, if you look at this thing, this value of this observable is not present in actually what is happening. You just got a state of a system which changes to another state of a system under the action of some projector with a probability in which this number doesn't come in. So we can abstract over this number, and the thing we're actually really interested about are the projectors. Huh? structure of quantum mechanics completely determined by the structure of the projectors. And the fixed point of such projectors are states which yield certain answers with certainty. So they're actually not vectors, but they are rays. Things we're interested about are the rays. And more generally, we're interested in linear subspaces. So that's what Van Manen already wrote in his book. And so you've got a fully abstract measurement which can be defined like that. And his conclusion was a fully abstract space of states is a space of rays, and the significant structure thereon is carried by the linear subspaces, which are the fixed point of the corresponding projectors. And state vector carry redundancy, global, scale, multiple. So the real theory about quantum mechanics should be a projective one, not vector space. So we want to get rid of these vector spaces and stuff. He literally said that he just used them because they were around, but he never liked them. 1932, he had his book. 1935, he wrote to Birkhoff that he actually didn't believe in Hilbert space anymore. And since then, he's been trying to look for a bunch of other stuff. He developed the theory of projective geometry just to realize that the moment he wanted to add some quantitative stuff to it, he actually ended up back with Hilbert space. So this was all just a waste of time, basically. Then he did the C-star algebra stuff, but we have Geld van Neumark, so we end up again in Hilbert space. Can we really get away from Hilbert space? That's like the question. That's what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm just going to quickly through the Birkhoff and Neumann stuff. They said that the non-distributive letters of linear subspaces captures a structural lesson from quantum theory. Everybody knows that here. So what they did was, so this is a Hering algebra. This is a Hering algebra. People who don't know it. So they saw there was some logical analogy between this orthomodularity of a lattice. It's probably not the way you've seen it, but it's the way you can write it. It's sort of similar to a logic. That's why they can go into the name quantum logic, because if you replace conjunction by projectors and implication by this thing which they call Sasaki hook, which is actually an adjoint to projectors, then you've got some analogy. But it's a non-logic. You can't do anything just from the perspective of logicians. It's just useless. And I think this field of quantum logic, honestly, it's just a big failure. It's just a big failure. It's still carrying on. There's a community of people doing that. I wasted 10 years of my life doing it. I mean it. Seriously, I've got a book on that stuff.
Is Piron still doing it?
Piron stopped doing that like 10, 15 years ago. The only thing he does now is field theory.
And Joop is dead, or?
What?
Joop?
Joop died.
Long time
Joop
ago.
died. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Joop died happily.
Yes, no. I don't want you to tell that story. That's my story.
Joop died happily. So anyway, so I'm not going to talk about this stuff, but this is like the context I actually grew up in. Like this algebra, this quantum logic stuff. But what I learned from Piron, spiritually, Piron was my supervisor, and Piron never cared about this logical content stuff. I don't think he really religiously believed anymore in the whole lattice theory stuff himself even. So that's